All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the fact that Google just greenlit the entire AI space, memory, semiconductors, with their latest earnings announcements. We're going to dig into that here in just a minute. But before, obviously, this is pretty cool of you to be recording a video, right? I'm in the Vail Eagle Airport heading back home today from a family trip with my family out here for summer. I recommend, if you can, Colorado in the summer. It's amazing. Okay, so here's what happened. So I know you probably are looking at the entire market today. The Dow's down 500, the Nasdaq's down 400 plus, and you'd expect to look at memory chips like MICRON and SK Hynix and even AMD and NVIDIA, and you would expect them to be just dramatically down. They are not. Why aren't they? I personally think it's because of what Google did in their Wednesday evening earnings announcement. And here's what essentially they said. They came out, they met expectations, all that. But everybody was really looking at capital expenditures, the guidance from Google on what their AI capital expenditure spend would be going forward. And they raised those expenditure numbers between $195 to $205 billion. They raised that up from about $185 billion. And that spooked Wall Street only in the significance of Google stock. What I mean by that is that raising of that capital expenditure guidance essentially triggered kind of a sell, and I think Google's now about 5% today, a sell on Google. But what it really did was it signaled to the space, to the AI space, to Wall Street and everybody, that Google, one of the hyperscalers, right, is not going to slow down on capital expenditures for their AI build out. You know, they're building out Google Cloud and all of their AI search and all of their stuff. They're building that out. In fact, Google Cloud platform, I think their earnings or their revenues jumped to 24.5 billion, which was a dramatic increase, move up. But I really want to go back to this capital expenditure thing, and that's really what's cool. So let's bring this back to all of our AI stocks that we own, Micron, SK Hynix, all the chips, even other parts of the stack. For the most part, none of them are being impacted. In fact, Micron is up $32 right now in what is arguably a extremely red market. The Dow up, the Dow down 500, Nasdaq down 400 plus. Why? I think ultimately what we saw with the guidance from Google, from Alphabet, in the fact that they are raising their capital expenditure guidance, says to the street, we are not going to slow down. In fact, we are going to raise it. We are going to move up. Because again, remember what I said to you guys, it is an arms race. The AI expenditure, the AI capital expenditure dollars, especially from the hyperscalers, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, it's not going to slow down. It can't. Guys, it can't. So remember this, okay? Remember that every time you see a Wall Street article anywhere that talks about, oh, we're worried about capital expenditures, this thing may stop, just kind of go, no, it's not. Remember, Google, as an example, can't be seen by the marketplace as being a laggard or as being somebody not spending or not developing the right AI products to deploy to their customers, their retail customers, their business customers. They can't do it because then their business would take a dramatic hit, you see? So that's what's really cool about Google's earnings announcements and the fact that they raised their capital expenditure forecasts. Yes, it spooked Wall Street in the context of Google stock, and Google stock took about a 5 to 7% hit, but it really greenlit and said to Wall Street, hey, you guys are overemphasizing the perception of CapEx dollars expenditures, meaning every week there's always an article, always somebody out there talking about, oh, are they, the hyperscalers or enterprise clients, going to start reducing those CapEx spends? It's an article or a theme or a narrative or a talking head every single damn week, guys. In fact, it's getting kind of boring. It's like, can't you find something else to talk about? And watch, next time we get close to SK Hynix or Samsung or Micron's earning announcement, you know what they're going to trot out there? They're going to trot out, oh, memory is cyclical, all that kind of stuff. No, it's not. And I've talked to you guys about this in videos a lot. I've talked to you guys about this, the fact that it is not cyclical anymore. Those cycles are essentially done because of, for Micron's sake as an example, 16 strategic customer agreements, the fact that fabrication facilities are going to come online, and Micron is going to manage how they ship that product to meet or beat earnings expectations, to also deliver the products, but they're going to manage that flow. They are, okay, so Micron is. So I really wanted to stress to you in this video that there's always going to be fear and uncertainty from Wall Street and what they're saying and overreaction on CapEx spend, and Google just showed the Wall Street guys and gals that they're completely wrong, and that in fact they're not going to be slowing down, they're going to be speeding up. And here's what's going to happen in this. You got to know that Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, what are they going to do? Are they going to now pull back on CapEx expenditures? No, they're not. Because they're looking at Google going, Google just raised theirs $15 to $20 billion right now on what their earnings were, their guidance for CapEx expenditures. So do you think that Microsoft is going to say, oh, well, we're going to pull back? No, because the next thing that comes out around that will be the fact that Microsoft is now pulling back on CapEx expenditures. What's wrong with Microsoft business? They're not doing a good enough job to keep up with capital expenditure, to keep up with delivering AI products to their clients, and so forth and so on, because that's what will get them. That's what the Wall Street journalists will say. They will say that in the context of, if one of these major hyperscalers comes out and says, hey, we're going to reduce CapEx spend. But meanwhile, you got to know that every week there's going to be some article out there talking about, oh, everybody's afraid of CapEx expenditures associated with AI spend. And the fact of the matter is, guys, it is not going to slow. I mean, Google is a perfect example of the entire, well, definitely hyperscalers, but also enterprise to mid to medium, even to small companies. They cannot afford to be seen by their respective clients, customers, as not having an AI strategy, as not spending money on an AI strategy for their clients, okay? Always come back to that, please, please, please. By the way, if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. I appreciate if you would do that for me. But this is significant, okay? I loved when I saw this report come out, and I'm like, okay, this is really, really interesting. And it's even more interesting in what's going on in the stock market today. We got the NASDAQ down 400, almost 500, I think. Last time I looked, it was like down 480. You got the Dow down over 500. And meanwhile, AI stocks are doing okay. Micron's up. SK Hynix is up as of the recording this video. And that's what's really, really cool about this, okay? Is that we today, this week, got validation for CapEx expenditures from one of the biggest hyperscalers out there. And the other guys are going to follow suit. The other guys are not going to reduce that CapEx spend guidance. They're not. They're not going to do it, guys. They can't be seen as a laggard or as falling back or not being aggressive enough. They can't. Okay, so what do you think? Drop in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. I want to know what you think about this. But this to me was exciting news. It really was. Okay, so trying to think of anything else I need to talk to you guys about. But I appreciate you giving me a few minutes, and as always, thank you. And I'll be back in my studio later today, tonight. If anything develops, more videos coming. I'll see you. Bye.